Hello and welcome to Business Reporter's Digital Transformation Campaign, hosted by the Telegraph Online. I'm Alastair Green, and today I'm going to be talking to Steve Haworth from Teleware about how to improve customer communications and build a stronger business. Good morning.
Morning.
So these days, customers can contact us and talk to us in a multitude of different ways. It's a very changing environment. So what kind of concerns and challenges does that produce for organisations?
I think the very fact that there's so many options is causing an issue in itself. So the consumer has to make a choice between whether they contact you via the web or whether it's social media they use or whether they contact you over the phone. So the actual proliferation of choice is becoming confusing for both customer and the business themselves, and that's often paralysing both. And what we see is businesses trying to react to that, but they typically will err towards the digital transformation, so they'll look at the things like the websites where they can analyse the detail, and some of the other sides of things they quite often miss. And the good news is there's technologies that are readily available, easy to deploy, that are already out there today that could be used to be filling in some of these holes.
So if these technologies exist, they're there. Why aren't we using them? What's missing here?
Well, I think, as I was saying, people are looking for the perceived easy places. So they look where the volume of transactions happen, so whether that's website or call centre. But actually a lot of the richer, deeper relationships are built in more one-to-one conversations, whether that's account managers on the road or conversation you have face-to-face with a customer. And really being able to pull them in is relatively simple, but seems to be overlooked by many.
One of the challenges for many organisations will be they'll say, well, this is all fine, but I can't keep on changing the technology that I'm using. I mean, it's just not a sustainable option. So what can they do?
I think in order to keep up with the rapid change, then you've got to evolve the technology rather than replace old for new. We saw an interesting stat from Oracle that says in enterprises, applications are over 20 years old, which is almost prehistoric in technology terms. But using things like the cloud to overlay the technology that you've got, then we can deploy lots of products and services faster, more efficiently, and a lot better. And one example of that was when the financial institutions were hit with the PPI mis-selling scandal. Then what we were able to do is help one of the high street banks set up a contact centre within less than a working week, thousands of extra employees there to handle customer issues and give better service to their customer.
You talked a little bit about recording voice conversations, and that might concern some people as being a little bit too much like Big Brother.
Well, consumers are protected through regulation, but also this is really about making sure that businesses are doing what's right. So there's a lot of regulations that actually are forcing companies to be recording communications, not just voice communications. And there's another side of using it then to drive better customer experience.
You're making it sound like the customer's actually getting something out of it. What's in it for them?
So a good example of this would be in 2011, the Financial Conduct Authority came out with some regulation that in order to protect people in their financial dealings with banks and the likes, then communications had to be recorded. So what we did was introduce a mobile call recording solution so that all conversations, regardless of whether they were in the office or out and about, were recorded, that then protects the consumer to know that the right conversations and the right warnings have been had around those, and helps with the compliance. But we're also, what was interesting was we found that other industries then started to pick up on this. So we found healthcare using it for health and safety. We found legal sector using it just to document and prevent litigation. And we also found it used in a lot of consumer goods industries to improve customer experience and then improve their sales processes in many ways.
Now, there's a lot of developments going on at the moment, as we've talked about. How do you see that impacting the communication between consumers and businesses, say, in the next few months, into the next few years?
There's quite a few trends that are coming together now. There's the mobile side of things, so both from consumers are now being far more mobile, but so are employees as well, and that's driving several things. Also, the cloud is becoming far more mature, so we're seeing people being able to deploy technologies faster. One example is being able to deploy technologies and services such as a contact centre within less than a business week, and handling that with thousands of extra employees to deal with customer services. So the cloud and being able to do new cloud services is becoming really important. And also that leads us into the analytics. When you're starting to capture data, big data, how you're actually going to drive value from that, and that's really analysing the data that you're capturing, whether that's from communications or from other data sources. And then also, how do you learn from that? So we're seeing a lot in machine learning and artificial intelligence, where if the machines can learn what good communications looks like, it can start to help improve that automatically for you. And then businesses are deploying things like unified communication. So we're seeing a real big push from Microsoft Skype for Business, a lot of deployments of that, which then means that people are no longer just looking at conversations on the phone, they're looking at that broader text and video and the likes.
So talking about Microsoft, I know that you're a Microsoft Gold partner. What exactly does that mean?
So it's really about enabling us to support partners and making it easy so they can concentrate on looking after their customers. So the technology is tried and tested, and we've had early visibility of the tools to integrate and do better technology. But also we've developed services that enhance the Microsoft product set. So Skype for Business is an example I mentioned before. We're enabled to better manage communications into the company and spread that across people using Skype for Business and record those conversations. So there's lots of things that we can do by being a Microsoft Gold partner that enable us to do it quicker and faster and better for the customer.
The one thing I don't quite get is, for all of these partners of Microsoft, why are they going to a third party such as Teleware, where surely they can just deal with Microsoft directly, can't they?
Sure, and Microsoft have 430,000 partners, so to actually differentiate yourself in amongst all that is quite difficult. So the reason people will come to Teleware is we've developed a suite of products and services that actually enhance the Microsoft products, not just Skype for Business, but Office 365 and other Microsoft technologies, which then enables a Microsoft partner to get their customers migrated to the cloud faster. That enables them to get them onto that progress and that journey towards the cloud. It helps them differentiate themselves from the other 430,000 partners, but it also gets the customers getting greater value in using those services in a better way.
Well, it's been really fascinating finding out more about the ever-changing world of business communication. Steve Haworth from Teleware, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.